History, my friends, is a wonderfully strange and unpredictable thing. It's a wild tapestry woven with threads of triumph and tragedy, of the expected and the utterly bizarre. We often think of history as dates and battles, but it's so much more than that. It's the stories of people, real people just like you and me, living and dying in ways we could never imagine. Consider, for instance, the death of Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, or King Adolf Fredrik of Sweden, who loved his food a little too much. How about the mysterious demise of Lord Carnarvon, forever linked to the curse of the pharaohs? And who could forget the strange case of the dancing plague, where people danced themselves to death? Join me as we explore these tales of the unexpected, where history meets the truly bizarre. Socrates, the Athenian philosopher, is a man whose name echoes through the halls of history. Known for his sharp wit and even sharper mind, Socrates challenged Athenian conventions and made quite a few enemies along the way. His crime? Daring to question, to provoke, to make people think. Charged with impiety and corrupting the youth, Socrates found himself facing a jury of his peers. He could have pleaded for mercy, but Socrates was not one to back down from his principles. Instead, he chose to stand by his beliefs, even if it meant staring death in the face. Socrates' death was not just a tragic end to a brilliant mind. It marked a turning point in the history of philosophy. Now, let's journey to 18th century Sweden, where King Adolf Fredrik, a man of considerable appetite, reigned supreme. Known for his love of lavish feasts and indulgent meals, Adolf Fredrik was the embodiment of royal excess. While his reign was marked by relative peace and prosperity, it was his stomach, not his enemies, that would ultimately prove to be his downfall. The fateful day began like any other, with a royal feast of epic proportions. Lobster, caviar, sauerkraut, smoked herring, you name it, it was on the table. But the king, determined to satisfy his gargantuan appetite, didn't stop there. He polished off 14 servings of his favourite dessert, a traditional Swedish pastry known as hetvack. The overindulgent monarch, his body racked with pain, breathed his last that very evening. Section 4. The Pharaoh's Curse, Fact or Fiction? Let's fast forward to the early 20th century, to the golden age of archaeology. The discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922 by Howard Carter sent shockwaves around the world. The treasures within were breathtaking, offering a glimpse into the opulent world of the boy king. But whispers of a curse soon began to circulate, fueled by a series of unfortunate events that seemed to plague those who dared to disturb the tomb. Lord Carnarvon, the wealthy patron who financed the excavation, became the poster child for the supposed curse. A seemingly healthy man, Carnarvon developed a high fever and chills shortly after entering the tomb. His condition rapidly deteriorated and within weeks he was dead. The timing of Carnarvon's death, coupled with the equally untimely demise of several others associated with the excavation, fueled the flames of the curse legend. Section 5. The Dance of Death, a Plague of Rhythmic Despair. Our final stop takes us back to 16th century Strasbourg, where a most peculiar plague gripped the city. It wasn't a plague of disease in the traditional sense, but a plague of uncontrolled dancing. It began in July 1518, when a woman, Frau Troffea, suddenly took to the streets and began dancing with wild abandon. Her movements, erratic and tireless, continued for hours, if not days. Soon others joined her, their bodies seemingly possessed by an irresistible urge to dance. What started as a solo performance morphed into a mass frenzy, with dozens, then hundreds of people dancing in the streets. The dancing plague stands as a chilling reminder that sometimes reality is far stranger than fiction. Section 6. A Fragile Thread. From the philosophical suicide of Socrates to the overindulgent demise of a king, from the curse of a pharaoh to the dancing plague that swept through Strasbourg, history is replete with tales of the unexpected. These stories, though often tragic, remind us of the fragility of life, of the fine line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. We may plan and we may predict, but ultimately we are all at the mercy of fate's fickle hand. And that, my friends, is a thought as terrifying as it is exhilarating. So let us embrace the unknown, the unexpected, the utterly bizarre, for it is in these moments that we truly appreciate the precious and often fleeting gift of life.